Hey YouTube, this is my spoiler-free review of Toll the Hounds, the 8th book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, a book that doubles as a forearm workout because it is so thick. Satisfying sound. Toll the Hounds by Steven Erikson, the 8th book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I mentioned already, but I need to dwell on this a little longer. This is a thick book. I know what you're thinking. It's a fantasy channel. You read thick books all the time. This shouldn't be a big deal. Just for perspective, let's go through a couple other books and compare it to Toll the Hounds. Eye of the World, first book in the Wheel of Time. Known as a big book series, right? Ha ha! Don't make me laugh. I mean, seriously, look at that. Game of Thrones, like a children's story. The Wise Man's Fear. Nope. Fellowship of the Ring. Oh, that's cute. The entire Chronicles of Narnia hardback edition. Still not close. Dante's Divine Comedy. Nah. Anyway, I think I've made my point. It's a thick book, but it's a really good book. That's the bottom line here. We return to the continent of Genabacchus after spending several books in Lether. I don't know what it is about the series, but something about Genabacchus feels more like home than the rest of the Malazan world. I don't know if that's just because Gardens of the Moon is the first book that we read, and so that's our first introduction to the world, so it feels like that's, the most comfortable. Maybe it's because Gardens of the Moon is the most stationary of any of the stories, so we spend the most time in Darujhistan, but something about returning to that continent and that city in particular just felt good in Toll the Hounds after entire globe trotting that we had done in the previous books. Also, it's very interesting to go back to stories from Memories of Ice that feels like so long ago, and it's so new for all of the characters that we are reading. So that was enjoyable. The basic plot overview, again without spoilers, Toll the Hounds is, to borrow from Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. We check in on Darujhistan, how things are going there, and we check in Coral, how things are going there. As always, there are about 10,000 other smaller plots. Tarsa Orlong is still wandering, and he meets a very interesting fellow traveler. There's also Namander and the Tist Andi, the children of Anamander Rake, are still wandering around, and they come across this very interesting blight on the land. I won't say any more about that. But that is a big part of this book, is that storyline. We get more Torvald Nam, who we haven't seen since House of Chains, in a very different place and thing. He actually returns to Darujhistan. A lot of characters that we hadn't seen in a while, like Kroop, Cutter, Graal, Pust, Picker, and the bridge burners who had retired to Darujhistan. And that's really the main sort of plot kickoff, is that someone, for some reason, is trying to kill off the bridge burners that are in Darujhistan, and we don't know why. So that really kicks off the plot, and then that goes somewhere completely unexpected. I don't want to say more because, again, you need all the attention you can get to get through a 1,300 page book. So I'm not going to tell you any more of the plot, but it is a page turner, I think, especially even in the realm of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I found it an incredibly interesting story. And I think a lot of that is the strength of knowing Darujhistan, and that allows us to move very quickly through a lot of storylines. There are some great character moments in Toll the Hounds, particularly with, again, characters we had seen before that we hadn't spent a lot of time with, especially Anamander Rake. There's a character that is incredibly interesting, both in Memories of Ice as well as Gardens of the Moon. He's just one of the standout, unique players in the drama, and you get a lot more of him, and even a couple of perspectives, not of him but of those close to him, that really flesh out him as a character, not just as a being, a powerful being, that I found very satisfying. We also do get to spend a good amount of time with Murillo, and that is, I think, a great storyline. All of the character storylines revolve around the single theme of redemption, and that is an absolutely critical bedrock theme in Toll the Hounds. This idea of what is redemption. Can it be free? Does it have to be earned? Is it a concept that is worth having? Especially around something that is happening in Black Coral. Again, I don't want to say too much, but if you've read the book, check out my spoiler review. I'm going to talk a whole lot about this because I think it is such an interesting, great aspect of Erikson's whole theme of compassion, this subset of compassion that is redemption. And a rather, I would say, unfavorable viewpoint on how most people view redemption. Finally, I just wanted to shout out, there's an awesome dialogue between a character and another character that eventually goes into an actual, like, Socratic dialogue between Platonic philosophy versus Aristotelian philosophy, and it's just awesome. Like, I don't know, if you hadn't been trained in philosophy, you probably wouldn't notice it, but once you notice it, it's like, Erikson, love it. It's just props to work that into an epic fantasy, this small, ancient, philosophical discussion, and it's just great. A pluses from me. So Toll the Hounds, making spoiler-free reviews of these late Malazan books are so hard because I want to talk about all these spoilers. I will in a spoiler review soon, but I'm going to end the spoiler-free review here just to say it's a great book. I did find it a page turner. The weakness is really one particular storyline that I found dragged on a little bit. It does have a payoff in the end, but especially with 1,300 pages, when you have a storyline that is pretty central, that drags for a while, and has one character that is particularly very, very upsetting, and if you've read this, you've probably read it, like upsetting in an annoying way, not in like a profound way, that sort of brings it down from perfection. But other than that, I love Toll the Hounds. I am going to give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely recommend it. If you're this far in the Malazan series, you're definitely going to read it. You're definitely going to finish it in the series. So, well done. 9 out of 10 for Toll the Hounds. Let me know in the comments what you think. Again, keep spoilers out of this, and we'll have a spoiler review video out very soon talking about Toll the Hounds. First in, last out.